Hello friends, welcome to Python programming tutorials. In this class we are going to discuss about multithreading in Python. So what is multithreading? So multithreading in Python is a process of executing multiple threads simultaneously. That means executing more than one thread concurrently is known as multithreading. So now we can see what is a thread. So what is a program? A program is a set of instructions. Now after writing the program, you are going to compile that program. After that you can execute that program. That means the program is converted as a executable instructions, and after collecting the data related to program, then operating system can allot the memory, then it become process. So that means the program become as a process. The process is an instance of a program, and a thread is an entity within a process. That means if the process is going for execution, then we call that process as a thread. So this is the function. So print time. Here I am going to print the date and time. So current date and time. So for example, the current date and time is 5, 10, 30 seconds. Okay, so for every 2 seconds I am going to print the time. 5, 10, 32, 5, 10, 34, 5, 10, 36, 5, 10, 38. So this is the output for this function. Let us assume, not exactly, we can see exact output when we are execute this program in our practical session. Here I call this function two times. One is print argument is thread1 and it is 2, thread2 4. Now I call this function the thread. Here the name is thread1. So delay is 2. That means for every 2 seconds the output is 30, 32, 34, 36 and 38. You are going to print the date and time of now. For this second function call, it becomes thread2. The delay becomes 4. Now it prints, for example, the time is 40. Next it prints 44, 48, 52 and 56. I can treat this function as a normal function. So that's why it executes like this. If I define this as a thread, if I define this as a thread and I create two threads and I call the two threads at a time, then the execution is different. Okay, in this case, so first we complete the execution of first function call. After that only we are going to execute the second function call. But coming to thread, both the threads are executing simultaneously. We can see the execution in our practical session. Now we can see that how to create the threads in Python. Okay, for creating the threads, the first step is you are going to import the threading module. So after importing the threading module, say create an object to the thread class. So capital T. So thread class. So T1 is the object. Here the T1 is the object to which class? Thread class. And in the thread class there are two parameters. One is target, another one is arguments. So target is nothing but here we are going to give the function name. Arguments means what are the arguments you want to give to the function. So next one, after creating the thread, you are going to initiate the thread by using start method. And the next step is, so use join method is to stop the execution of current program. Current program is nothing but main thread until a thread is completed. That means if I call t1.start, so now the t1 thread is executed. Until the completion of t1, the current thread is in waiting state. So how we can do that means t1.join. Remaining thread methods are run method, which is entry point for thread, is alive method, which checks whether a thread is still executing or not. So get name returns the name of a thread. Set name set the name of a thread. So these are the different methods. Now we are going to write the thread program. So with these instructions, what is the first instruction? Import threading. That means in this program I am going to import threading. So first step is what? Import threading is a module. So this is all. The second step is create an object to thread. So that means how we can create the object? T1 equals to, here I am creating two threads. For example, the first thread name is T1 equals to threading dot thread. What are the argument? The first one is target. Target equals to. So what is the target? This is the function name. So I give print time, comma, arguments. What are the arguments we are given? One is string thread 1, comma, we are giving delay. For example, this is the 2, comma, that's it. Here the arguments are tuple. Okay. Next, in similar way you can create the second object. T2 equals to threading dot thread target equals to print time, arguments equals to, we change the arguments, thread 2 comma 4 as delay. Okay. Second step is over. The third step, to start the thread. How we can start the thread? T1 dot start, that's it. How we can start the second thread? T2 dot start. Now the thread 1 and thread 2 both are executing simultaneously. So that means in previous case, so after completion of the first call, the second call will be invoked. But here both the threads invoked at the same time. So after that, the third step is over. After that, fourth step, T1 dot join, T2 dot join. That's it. What happened? At a time, this T1 and T2, both the threads are executing. So what is the expected output for this? Let us assume, so we don't print the time. We see the exact output at the time of execution. So T1 dot start, T2 dot start. So we print only the string. For T1, the string is thread 1. In the same time, the thread 2 also executed. After that, it prints thread 1. After that, thread 2, thread 1. After that, thread 2, thread 2. So why? For first thread we are giving the delay 2 seconds. So that means, so thread 1, 2. So it prints at 4. At the same time it becomes 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 and 20. So this is the time delays we are giving here. So this is the expected output, thread 1 untime, thread 2 untime, thread 1 untime. I hope you all understand the multi-threading in Python.
So now we are going to see the execution of thread programming. So before that, so without treating this function as a thread, we can see what happened. So this is the function print time. I call this function 2 times. Now we can see what is the thread 1, thread 1, thread 1, thread 1, thread 1. After completion of the thread 1, the thread 2 will be started. After completion of the first call only, the second call will be invoked. So that is not a thread. Now we can see that, so we can treat that function as a thread. now you can observe the difference between the previous output and this output, thread 1, thread 2. So 1 1 because the delay is 2 for thread 1 and 4 for thread 2. Okay, I hope you all are understand the execution of threads. So multi-threading is nothing but execute simultaneously. So what is the purpose of the join? I can comment this join. So what happened means, so before completion of these two threads T1 and T2, the main thread is executed first. Now we can see that. So first only the thread is printed, the end is in the main thread, so that we print first. That means already the main thread is ended, but actually in our view we are going to execute thread 1 and thread 2. After completion of these two threads only you are going to execute main thread. Okay, so that's why we can write the join.